This is part 45 of our Minish Cap walkthrough, and in this part we're going to start our favorite dungeon of the game, the Palace of Winds. By far our favorite dungeon.
By far. I mean, this place is just so unique, and like, for me it just feels totally different compared to the rest of the game. I mean,
no doubt.
I don't know why. I mean, I guess a lot of it's just because we're in the sky.
Oh, it looks so awesome.
I mean, just the clouds flowing below you. And here's like something I noticed earlier. Can you kind of see like the light blue, like things right there? See that light blue?
Oh,
right
yeah,
there?
yeah. Like the surrounds of the clouds.
Is that like the land down there? Is that what that is?
The reason I think it might be is because a little later in this dungeon, Eslo tells us that we need to jump off a ledge, and you can see like a darker blue area below us that we're going to jump to. So maybe those are like the tops of mountains.
Well, it makes sense because they're like obviously closer to the clouds. That's why they're bigger. Or they could just be some huge clouds too. But I mean, like I saw it today, and that's the first time I ever noticed it. I was like, that's got to be the land below.
That's my thought.
But then it's like it looks like islands now, so I don't know.
Maybe it's the tops of mountains.
Maybe we got like Hyrule and Koholint Island, and then like Terminus down there.
Koholint Island disappeared, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I mean, there's a lot that goes into this being our favorite dungeon. Like I said, just the feeling of being up in the clouds and nothing below you like that, and watching enemies jump off.
Definitely. And this will surprise some of our viewers. I love the theme too. That's what contributes to me liking it so much too.
I love the theme as well. I feel like there's a part or two that doesn't necessarily, I don't think, fit the dungeon. It's a long theme,
like when kind of it is. It takes a long time to loop actually, but I don't know why we brought that up. Like. We're doing scientific experiments on like the Palace of Winds or something.
There's a lot to this theme.
yes. But there's just some good puzzles. I mean, like one thing I like is it's very dangerous. There's like always a chance that you can fall off.
Yep.
Very reminiscent, obviously, of Sitting in the Sky from Twilight Princess.
Which, if you remember, was at least one of Hick's favorite.
I think I had it at 5th, maybe.
I thought it was higher than that.
Maybe. I don't know. No, it was at 5th, I think.
You might be right.
And there's like just so many different things. Like you got like the steel cage floor, whatever you want to call it.
The grating.
Yeah. I mean, just like, I don't know, they make the sky so like huge in this like dungeon, obviously.
Yeah.
That, I don't know, it feels so cool being up here.
It does. And like we've said, the sense of danger of falling off the edge is even bigger in this dungeon because a lot of these floors have the cracks in them.
I hate them. I hate the cracked floors in this dungeon. Well, I mean, there's also like, I mean, this is by far, trust me, I played through it, this is by far the hardest dungeon in this game.
It is.
I mean, like, you got all these edges, there's a ton of enemies.
And a good variety of enemies, too.
I think, I'm not sure, like, if a lot of them are new, but I feel like some of them are a little bit new.
I will say the enemies I'm not a big fan of, the Wizrobes.
Man, we get some ice and fire ones later on, and they're just the devil, man.
They are, but I will say, like, I like the level of detail that's kind of gone into the Wizrobes a little bit. The first thing that jumped out to me, and I'm a huge Link to the Past fan, the Wizrobes, when they start to shoot their beams at you, have like glowing orbs on both hands, and that immediately reminded of the Aghanim fights.
Aghanim fight, yeah, that's a good one too.
From Link to the Past. I'm like, just good detail. Plus you get the beards on them and everything. I
didn't even notice that. One thing, like one very tiny thing that I hate about this boss fight is like you think you beat them, and then like the music will kind of change or go away. Yeah. And then like kind of right there, it's like you look right there, and then like it'll start back up again, and I don't know why, it just drives me nuts.
One thing that drove me nuts about this fight is fighting 8 Wizrobes.
Well, no, there's always. What's it like? It's like 2, 4, 6, then 8 or something like that?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's a weird, it's not necessarily what I would call a mini-boss.
Well, see, I think it is because you get we'll begin the dungeon item after this, which I absolutely love.
Oh my gosh.
I love the item. I don't always love getting the dungeon item this early.
But for this dungeon.
How it's used, I just love it.
Yeah, and the Rock's Cape, like, not only is it easily my favorite weapon or item in this game.
It's mine too.
It's pretty high on my list of favorite ever.
It just adds an element to Zelda games, like, we're just not able to jump. And
I know.
Well, you jump, but it's not like you don't control it. You just run over a gap and it jumps. Whereas, like the Rock's Cape, it gives you the ability to jump, which we just don't have.
So you can fly like Superman up there too. I mean,
what I like is like like contrast to like the Rock's Cape, and I was trying to open that chest and about went off the edge.
Anyway, sorry.
But like the one Link's Awakening in the Oracle games, like you could just jump. Yeah. But whereas this one, like we kind of got like a glide if you hold down the button and just. I just loved it.
And they use it great in this. You're going to see it a little later in this dungeon. They come up with some very good ways to implement that gliding feature.
I'll tell one of them hated it. We'll talk about that when we get there. One took me forever.
I do like the idea, though. It lets you, instead of just having staircases everywhere, like those sets of clouds
Yeah.
It lets you just jump up to the next, highest level just using the clouds. And I thought, yeah, they could have just put a wall with stairs there.
Yeah.
But it fits the dungeon better for it to be clouds like that.
And going along with the kind of the dungeon, there's a lot of like floating enemies too.
Oh yeah.
Floating in the sky, like
We've had the P-hats.
The P-hats. Yeah.
And a lot of the little floating spike guys that blow up.
Barbarosas. Those are Barbarosas. I actually did look that up because I wasn't sure what those were either.
I'm looking at you for dungeon enemy.
Except there's some new ones in this, but then we also encounter a lot of old ones. And overall, there's just a ton of enemies in this dungeon.
There really are. I'm also I like that they fit in these fans or turbines that you're about to see us walk into here. It fits the idea of the wind tribe.
I mean, they just brought everything together really well.
Yeah.
And it's all there really is to it. I mean, like there's some dungeons you get sometimes, like, I can't think. Oh, the Fortress of Winds.
Yeah.
Which I guess kind of makes sense in a way, like as the runes or whatever. But like, we got into that place and there was no wind whatsoever.
I know,
which was very disappointing. But then we get here and the wind element is just used a lot.
It really is. I guess the Wind Tribe brought that technology from the fortress.
How do you bring technology of, well, I guess fans would be a technology, but I was like, how do you bring the technology of wind? Well, I guess if you're up higher in the sky, it's more windy up there, I think. So,
definitely. We're doing some real life. Is the wind stronger up in the air?
Yeah, it's a scientific experiment during our Zelda commentary.
Zelda physics, man.
Yeah.
Zelda physics.
What was the first one at the very beginning?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember either. Like another little thing, I just like going through those I guess they're not trap doors.
I like gates, I guess
gates, floor doors, I guess you call them.
Floor doors.
But like,
I like that name for them, actually.
I just liked how those were used in here too.
They were, and you can go like either down or up through them, which I think is just a nice little touch. Again,
definitely.
It's one of the few dungeons in the game that really has that sense of like up and down, vertical.
Oh yeah, well that has a lot to do with the Rock's Cape, obviously.
Of course.
But for some reason, like throughout this dungeon, it feels like we keep on going higher and higher and higher. Like I'm not sure exactly how many floors there are, but like I mean, right here, like we usually climb steps to get to the next part of a dungeon. But look how far we gotta go up right here to get to the next part. It makes you wonder how tall high is this dungeon.
And I think actually even Eslo says something about that at one point. He's like, oh my god, this dungeon just keeps going on
don't look down.
and on. Yeah. He's like, don't look down. Yeah. I thought that was a nice. By the way, not to go totally off topic, this is one of the longest durations.
It's tough.
You have to keep your duplicated links together.
And there's so many things you got to move around. That was one of the more difficult ones. And you saw barely. Now, one easy thing is if you don't get on the first try, go hit those skulls. Get out of your way, and you don't have to worry about dodging.
Now that's a smart idea.
It's just I actually got that one for once. I got something right on the first try. But yeah,
it does happen every now and then.
Definitely hit those if you don't get the first time.
Hey, speaking of flying enemies, how about these stupid crows?
Oh no! How about their regular name? I know. Whole commentary like parts back like this is like one of the few enemies that has just a regular name.
Yeah, it's just a crow.
I hate this. It's not really a puzzle, but I hated this the first time. Like those crows just kept on knocking me over.
Yes.
I remember this time I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna be aggressive and
just go quick.
Just pretend like they're not even there, and somehow I made it.
It worked out well, but I like the idea.
Then that one comes back and gets me. That little punk.
He had to get a parting attack in on you.
I think he literally went away from me and then came back towards me. Oh, we didn't get one more shot.
One more shot.
One more shot on him.
But I do like the cape. Obviously, just adds such an element of I guess platforming. Like you think Mario games, those kind of games are all like platforming, jumping around. Like having that with some of the puzzles here, riding the platforms and things like that. Just I really like that we got the cape early enough. To put those to the fullest
that's what we talked about earlier. I don't always like getting a dungeon item very early because it doesn't feel right. I guess like they're so used to getting Zelda items at certain stages in the dungeon. But if you're going to use it like they use it in this dungeon, then
it's well done.
Yeah,
we will not complain.
Oh, definitely not.
I really thought you were going to hit your head on the spiked bar though when you jumped into the pit.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
I don't even know if that happens or not. Now this puzzle right here, man. This thing was tough the first time I played.
Took me several tries.
And really the concept is to move most of the jars up and down.
Yeah.
That's I think I only moved 2 sideways, but if you just concentrate on moving most of the jars or bottles, whatever you want to call them, up and down, it's really the easiest way to get through this area.
It really is. I do not want to admit how many times
it took me forever.
Actually,
it took me forever
the first time. But now that we've gotten those pushed out of the way and gotten through that puzzle, this will wrap up part 45 of the Minish Cap.